Morning again, viewers and subscribers. Last week, I did a video showing you the callosing of the graftage that we did. This would now make it about 3 weeks. I showed you in the previous video the callosing that took place, and at that time the Cian was just about putting out new leaves. If you look now, a week after again, so now it's about 3 weeks, you can see clearly that there are more leaves and the leaves are expanding on both graphs, right? So the cyan are really growing and putting out their own new leaves. Now, what we do in situations like this is a process that we call forcing, and it can be done in many different ways. So, for example, there are some instances, mainly in citrus, you could bend the rootstock like this, and then you tie it at the bottom. That is one way of forcing. And what forcing does, it allows the it allows for lateral growth to take place. And what that does, it improves on the growth of the cyan, both in terms of its callosing potential as well as the growth of the cyan itself. So forcing is something that I practice in cocoa as well. But the method that I use is really to cut above the graph union. I cut on the opposite side of the graph union, maybe about halfway through, and then I bend back in the direction of the graph. So I cut on the opposite side, and then I halfway through the stem, and then I bend it back in the direction of the cyan, or the cyan rootstock interface, that side where the cyan rootstock interface is. Now what this does, it concentrates the photosynthase, right, that is manufactured here in the leaves directly on this side of the graftage. And so most of this photosynthase now is now made available to the cyan. And so this has the potential of increasing the growth of the cyan itself, and also to increase the callosing to further cement the quality of the callus. Also, what we do is to take off some of the older leaves from the graft, from the rootstock rather, as part of the conditioning process, as part of forcing and conditioning the cyan to take over and to become very strong, very sturdy. Right? So these two now, we know that there's no turning back unless there is some incompatibility that may arise later on during the developmental process. But clearly we can see that these are on their way. These two both are on their way. So we did two during the graftage exercise or grafting exercise when we were doing the workshop. And so it's two from two. And again, this is a demonstration of the mastery of the grafting technique. And again, I'll just reiterate the type of grafting here. It's the minimalist green grafting technique. And it's really a combination of things that culminates into this kind of grafting. So firstly, we grow the mother plant in a pot, and it's kept in a nursery or in a dry area. So we don't necessarily go into the field in order to select these budwood or the cyan. We actually have the plants in a pot, and that is what we take the budwood from. I do not have a plant just now, but if you go back to one of the previous videos, you will see that I actually took the cyan from a plant that was grown in a pot. So it's really the combination of how and where the budwood was selected, or the cyan, and again the size and length of the cyan, and the stage of maturity. So if you notice, in the previous video, the cyan was basically green for the most part, and that is why we call it minimalist green grafting technique. So the size of the budwood, the the mother plant from which we select the budwood, and also the size and length, all of those things combine to give us that concept of minimalist green grafting technique. So I said I would just come back to show you how we do the forcing technique, and to explain a little why it is important, and how it helps to enhance further growth and development of the cyan. All right, so that's it, and I hope this would add a little bit more value to the previous videos that we would have shown. All right, so take care, and I'll be coming to you maybe in another week or so. We're just recovering from Hurricane Beryl, so we are kind of putting back things out in the open because we have had to move a lot of the stuff indoors. So we are now taking them out, but I had to find the time to come to you before this would have passed the stage to show you the forcing technique. All right, goodbye.